I'm going to flip over to a team who is not in contention. That's the Kansas City Royals. They recently traded Aroldis Chapman to the Rangers. Scott Barlow should be next. He actually had a 3.89 ERA going into last night's appearance against the Tigers. That was one of those crazy high-scoring games. He had a huge lead going into a non-save situation, gave up 4 runs on 3 hits and 3 walks to bring the score to 11-10. Managed to hang on. The Royals got the win there, but his ERA jumped basically like a full run. It's now 4.89. Still, he's a year away from free agency. Royals not a contender. There's no need to hold on a reliever if you're in that position, especially with a pitcher who's accomplished some things in the past. That one bad outing really lifted the ERA there. I think he's a clear trade target for a contender. So I think this is more of a deeper league play, but I like Carlos Hernandez. And I think this is a pitcher that nobody's talking about. And why would they? Because the Royals are so bad. But Hernandez has been a legit success story this season. Coming into the year, 5.12 ERA in 56 MLB appearances, but he has been outstanding this season. ERA doesn't tell the story. 3.78 ERA, 56 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 57 2/3 innings. Has had a couple of opener assignments, but increasingly getting more opportunities in the 7th and 8th innings. His velocity is way up from anything we've seen in the past, averaging 99 miles per hour with his fastball, averaging. The whiff rate is up, but also across the board with his slider, his splitter, even his curveball, which he throws infrequently. But still, this looks like a future late inning, high leverage arm. I'm excited to get on board right now and see where this goes.
Yeah, I'll co-sign that. And this is another case of we don't care so much about the resume of relievers that if you look at anything Hernandez did before the season, you'd run away from him. But these guys, a lot of times they find the right pitch mix, they find the right spot on the rubber, they find the right delivery, right catcher, whatever it is. There's so many moving parts with pitchers. Sometimes it's just a matter of staying healthy, changing organizations, whatever it is, shifting from starter to reliever. Once somebody figures it out, I'm willing to trust what I see in front of me and not fear or sweat what the player might have been beforehand. So I guess Hernandez makes a lot of sense. And as you said, that could easily be a save situation. And Flux, we'll give you one more shot at saves on this show. And this is kind of the low-hanging fruit because Kyle Finnegan is 41% rostered in Yahoo right now. But Hunter Harvey was looking really good at the end of the games for Washington, but he's got an elbow injury. And look, no injury is good for a pitcher, but elbow always makes us nervous. I think it's going to be a while before we see Harvey again. And with Washington not in contention, maybe they don't mess around. Maybe he doesn't pitch the rest of the season. Finnegan hit a rough patch in the spring, but he's been really good the last month or so. His ERA just a skosh over 1. His whip is 0.71 over his last 14 innings. And he got that first save locked in after Harvey went on the IL. You just like to see them mark their territory right away. Say, hey, this is my job. It belongs to me. In Washington, look, they're not a good team. I get it. But Lane Thomas has been good all year. C.J. Abrams is playing great baseball, right? 345 over the last month, 11 stolen bases. He's moved up to the leadoff spot. Not eligible for this segment, but he's available in probably some really shallow leagues because he's only rostered maybe 2/3 of Yahoo. He's starting to pop. He's a big part of that Soto trade. Their lineup actually goes 4 or 5 deep. It's not a 9 deep lineup for sure, but they have a couple of good hitters here. So you might think, well, why would I want to close on Washington? They're going to lose every game. I don't think they're quite that bad. I think the current roster they have over a full season would maybe win 70 or 72 games, something like that. So why can't Kyle Finnegan get 10 saves the rest of the season? I think that's in play.
Yeah, I agree. That's possible. And the Royals is kind of a similar situation. Like they're going to win some games. They're probably going to be low scoring games. They'll get chances there. So if you're trying to compete in the saves category, stay afloat, there's going to be names to speculate on, and that goes for any number of situations across the league as the trade deadline approaches. So I'd recommend looking at those non-contending teams and stashing an arm that is getting holds or has an electric strikeout rate, and you see they're pitching the 7th and 8th innings because they could be next in line